Do you want to know the secret about addiction? It's not about the substance. You're low-key addicted to dopamine. The vehicle is meaningless. The way we look at this incessant focus on, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict, this is my drug of choice. Your drug of choice is dopamine, you dumb motherfuckers. You're addicted to dopamine. You're looking for love because you're love deficient, and you're willing to find it in a needle, in a pill jar, in a bottle, in sugar, in sex, in literally anything you can find it when you're not getting the real thing. And that's what addiction is. It has nothing to do with the substance itself. And if it did, everybody who did a specific amount of heroin would become addicted. All of this shit where people say like, oh, science is objective. Science isn't subjective. Oh, okay, well then it needs to behave in an objective way. As in if there's an addiction mechanism and it's about the substance, we can quantify when that substance creates an addiction. And it would work like, you guessed it, science. Since it doesn't work like science, it is not in fact science. And sorry, I get frustrated by this because the entire addiction modality in this country is responsibility avoidance and victim blaming. It's another way we're avoiding trauma. It's another way we're piling more trauma on top of trauma for the actual sufferers. All because people don't want to deal with the way they treat one another. Addicted to sugar. We're addicted to not life. Anything that brings us away from our authentic self and our authentic life, we're addicted to because we can't face the reality of who human beings have become and what this fucking culture that's not a culture is. So yeah, we're addicted to anything that brings us away from having to face the sad fact of life right now in 2022, because it's fucking pathetic. We should all be embarrassed to be human beings. That's just the reality of life right now, whatever the fuck year you want to call it. This is the year of failure. And either we turn it all around or it all goes to shit. Well, I think how we fix addiction is we understand that addiction is actually about love. And I think addiction, any sort of addiction, is about dopamine. And I think dopamine is the chemical of love. And a family is supposed to give us, talk about chemical imbalance. Let's talk about love as a chemical. Our family is supposed to love us. When our family doesn't love us, so that what that means is the cultural definition of the word love doesn't meet the definition of the word love within our family system, then all of it falls apart, right? And we seek out that love somewhere else to cure that imbalance. And that's where the addiction comes in. It has nothing to do with the individual substance. It has nothing to do with a moral deficiency. It has to do with trauma and a consciousness that has been told love is one thing and then given a faulty form of that in their family, and their brain can't make sense of the two. So we fix it by understanding that it's never about the substances. It's not about going in a room and saying you're a drug addict a million times. It's about understanding the drugs mean nothing, literally nothing. What we need to do is love one another. What we need to do is create a world that takes care of one another and doesn't make everyone terrified, because we seem to think like we don't know where all this anxiety and depression is coming from. Well, what's making you anxiety-filled and depressed? Work, money, and the structure of life. So, I mean, are we human beings living on Earth and have free will, or are we fucking employees in the corporation called Earth and we don't have any free will? We're just fucking in the Matrix already. I think we're in the Matrix already. I mean, I'm not. But, yeah, I mean, we fix ourselves. You know, Ram Dass says a couple things I really love. Number one, we're all just walking each other home, which means all we can do for one another is provide safety and comfort. As we walk each other home, we cannot suffer for other people. We cannot take other people's suffering. We can lead them to a place of understanding, right? And the other thing he says is, the only thing I can do for you is work on me. And the only thing you can do for me is work on you. And if we all do that, and we all agree that the aim is not profits, but the aim is moving humanity forward, and that's a big fucking course correction from where we're at right now, then everything falls into place. But if we can't even agree on what an atrocity is, on what success looks like, on what the greater good is, then we're not going to fix anything. We are not going to fix anything. It's going to get worse and worse and worse, and then who knows? My only question is, has it ever been any different? Has the condition of life ever been not suffering and on a needle, on the edge of a razor, ready to fall off, humanity? At what point did we have it all together? And since we never had it all together, why the fuck do we care that it's falling apart now? And why are we so scared? Because we've been told as Americans specifically that we should expect safety, and nobody else believed that in the history of time, that they were entitled to safety.